speaker says good morning, I want all you boys to say good morning with a lot of gusto. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. What a great day. I hope as you exited the dining room, the main building, you had a chance to look out over the Taconic Mountains to the west. That is the most beautiful view in all of New England, in my opinion. And to be able to enter the chapel today with the sun warm on our faces is pretty special. So good morning. For those of you who are history buffs or curious, this is the 115th opening day in our school's history. They were not all in this chapel. This chapel was built in 1959, but nevertheless, 115 years of Salisbury School. And back in September of 1901, that first year, there were 10 students and 4 faculty members. So it was an intimate group. And the 4 faculty members included the founding headmaster, George Quayle. And the main building was still being finished. So the first floor was done, so they had classrooms, but everybody had to live in Lake Cottage, or Kerr House, as it's now called. That's the house where Dr. Rosano and Mr. Curtis lived with their families, right across the street. It actually was an old inn/tavern in the 1800s, but that's where all the students and faculty lived. And on that day, on 1901 in September, Salisbury School was born. So fast forward, here we are. And actually, I wanted to mention, back in those days, before the school was here, this land, actually where the chapel sits right now, was an apple farm, a field of apple trees, owned by a guy named John Ottenbright. And Dr. Quayle purchased the school from Mr. Ottenbright, and you can still see the remnants of the apple farm. There's some apple trees around, but this hill where we stand right now is known as Frink Hill. Anyway, here we are gathered again for the 115th time, armed with what I hope are great hopes and dreams that we all have for this coming year, ready to work and learn and study and grow together. I can tell you I'm really excited for this journey, and I hope you are too. I saw Mr. Phelps early this morning, and I said he must have been chanting. We must have been aligned last night at the end of supper, when he was talking about the chapel. And because he said a couple things that I'm going to repeat because they're very important. You will find, I believe, as a student, that this building is particularly meaningful to you. And this chapel, when we're all together, listening to music, listening to a speaker, worshiping, just reflecting, looking out that beautiful window and looking at the Taconic Mountains. It is a very special place, and in my opinion, the quintessential classroom at Salisbury School. It's a place to think. As I said, it's a place to reflect, and it's a place to listen and to delight in. There are a couple important traditions that we follow, and I'll tell you, I was impressed this morning. Very often I will sit out front and I'll try and shake everybody's hand as you all enter. I'm testing myself as we do that I know all your names, and very quickly I will. But I also think, more important than that, a firm handshake, a look me in the eye or look you in the eye, a good morning, saying something to me that lets me know that you're ready for the day. I can't tell you how important a good handshake is and a good greeting is when you're making an impression on someone, especially someone that you've never met. So, as I said, I was really impressed. No fishy handshakes, though. Grip hard and give me a smile and let me know that you're ready for the day. That kind of oozes positive energy, which I think is so important. Mr. Phelps said the second piece that I wanted to mention, which is no food or drink. All right, finish your breakfast before you enter chapel. No water bottles, no food or drink. Thank you. And then the last thing is, I hope that we will enter this building quietly and reverently. It's okay to sit in your pew when you find your seat and chat quietly or whisper quietly with the next door neighbor. But Mr. Brown will often be playing something on the piano. We may have Mr. McCarron or one of his students from the music program playing something. And a lot of people like to enter this chapel and just sit and enjoy the peace. Look at the sun coming through the windows, look out on these mountains, and have a quiet moment. So when we enter, there shouldn't be a lot of noise. You know, this is, think about this place as a place where we're gentlemen, we're respectful. Someone just hit the lights over there, that's great. No, it's fine, it's totally fine. But I just want to affirm that this is a sacred place, this chapel. And I'll tell you, if you're struggling, or if you're really kind of concerned about something, to be able to come in here in the evening and sit in total quiet is wonderful. And even when you're not struggling with something, it's a place that just oozes peace. And so let's keep it that way. Thank you. It is now my great pleasure to introduce a gentleman who's beginning his 18th year, I believe, at Salisbury School. He is the consummate admissions professional in the independent school world, deeply, deeply respected around the country and around the world. We're lucky to have him. Peter Gilbert, our Director of Admission, will now introduce our new students.
Mr. Chandler, thank you. We are blessed, and this moment never gets old. And the Sarum hymn with you leading Michael, same thing. That was great this morning. Good way to start. It's a great honor to address the school this morning. It's one of my favorite duties as Director of Admissions to introduce and welcome the new Crimson Knights. New students know that I speak for the entire admissions team. We believe you are where you are meant to be. To all the boys, never again in your lives will you have so many adults dedicated to your safety, confidence, and self-actualization. There is no better school for boys. The admissions office took great care in offering you a position at school. And I thank my colleagues for their good work. Be proud of this opportunity. Your application obviously stood out among the 600 that we read. Your interviewer would note that your non-cognitive skills won the day in the end. Your motivation, intellectual curiosity, creativity, adaptability, optimism, and capacity for empathy are traits that we very much value on the Hilltop. We all owe a collective thanks to those who circle you today, the faculty and the staff. They've spent countless hours getting the Hilltop ready for you, and we are grateful. It is said that when a student is ready, a teacher appears. Who have you learned from? Who will you learn from? In a liberal arts education like ours, one gains a deep perspective for the fragility and imperfections of life, as well as for the great capacity of a single person to elevate, to challenge, to lead, and to inspire. Unique to the Hilltop, students and faculty and staff members form trusting friendships. Boys, you will absorb their best traits and be reminded that nothing in human judgment is final. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, a chief event of the life is the day in which you have encountered a mind that startled us. Be ready for this, for it surely will happen. We are all teachers, and we are all learners. Before I introduce the new students to you all, know that I will resist hyperbole, that I will refrain from superlatives. Of course, boys, be proud of yourself, but humbly remember that there is no such thing as an indispensable man. You will be able to push beyond your self-imposed limits if you live with passion and work diligently. Mr. Chandler, faculty, staff, and returning students, admissions presents to you the third form. 48 new Sarum brothers, you are not the chosen ones, but rather the ones that chose us. The diversity of your class reflects the demographic profile you will experience 4 years from now in college. Salisbury and New Canaan, Germany and Mexico, Miami and Boston, Asia and South America, upstate and downtown. We ask the class of 2019 to stand and to be recognized. Thanks, guys. Fourth form. Competition was strong for your 37 spots. The journey to the hilltop for each of you was distinct. Some of you visited many schools. Some of you visited only one. Good decision. Regardless, you all shared two traits. You are good guys, and you are aspirational. Don't let either of these marks of character fade. Will the new fourth form students please rise to receive a well-deserved welcome? Fifth form. The new students round out an already accomplished class of 2017. While your time in the hilltop will be ephemeral, you will make a difference, just as those you join. In a short time, the names Jonah, Cormac, Masashi, Cam, Julian, and Max, among others, will be well known in the community. All 24 of you are afforded the same great opportunities as the guy sitting next to you. New class members, we ask you to stand and be congratulated. All right, finally, to the entire sixth form. Not one of the new sixth formers hails from Connecticut. This speaks to the compelling need for a Salisbury-like experience in our world. The entire class of 2015 is in the fortunate position to be mentors. Boys, support someone younger than you, within whom you see a reflection of yourself, but also find a peer to emulate that will challenge you. And finally, seek someone older than yourself who has the power of reflection and the wisdom of time. Will all the sixth form students symbolically rise and lead us into the 2015-16 school year?
Before we head off to class, I'd like to leave you with a simple but important thought. I'll be brief so that we can all begin the class day on time, which I know everybody's aching to do. But last Wednesday, and again on Sunday, I spent a lot of time with parents, which was great. And it's an important day as they drop you off and they say goodbye. But our conversations were, as you would expect, mostly about you, about their sons. And the range of conversation was broad, and I could feel the emotion. It's an important day. And most parents are really excited in that moment. Some new parents, I think, are mixed with emotion, maybe a touch of sadness saying goodbye. A couple of mothers every year are always a little teary. And for the first time, Mrs. Sinclair said she noticed a father sneaking a tear or two. But what I thought was, isn't that nice? I mean, it's nice to know you're loved, right? After all the grief you gave them this summer, the loud music, the clothes on the floor, the unmade bed, the coming in after curfew, eating everything in the refrigerator, making mess after mess, and they still love you. Crazy. That's what parents do. So for some of your parents, bringing you back to the hilltop for the third or fourth year, it was kind of old times. But regardless of whether they were bringing you for the first time or the fourth time, they all carry with them, I can tell you, they all carry with them great hopes and dreams for you and this year at Salisbury School. And I wondered, thinking about this the last few days, I wondered if you ever think about that. I wonder if you ever think about the fact that your parents have these incredible hopes and dreams for you. Perhaps you've had that conversation with your mother or your father, that in the form of kind of, here are my expectations for you and your education. I know I've had a conversation or two like that myself, on both sides, as a son and as a father. But regardless, if you have or haven't had that conversation, I hope that all of you have spent some time, at least a moment or two, thinking about what you want to accomplish this year. Maybe you have a target like, I'm going to make first honors. That's a great one. Or maybe your ultimate goal is to get into your first choice college. That's a great one too. Maybe it's making a team to which you aspire. Perfect. Perhaps it's mastering a piece of music that you've been practicing for weeks and months. Awesome. Or earning a key role in the fall drama production. Terrific. I imagine some of you, and this would not be me when I was your age, but I imagine some of you have drawn up a list of goals, and maybe you tacked it on your desk or keep it by your bedside table. You know, it's really important. So yesterday I spent, and I do this on the eve of the opening of school, I spent a couple of minutes just thinking about some things, and some of the ideas I'd had come to me over the course of the summer. One of the things on my list this year is I want to meet each and every family that comes through the admissions office when I'm here at school. Sometimes I'm traveling away from school and I don't have the opportunity to do that. But one of the things I love to do most is introduce people to Salisbury and help them get to know Salisbury. And it's a unique opportunity when boys and their families come through, and I did this with many of you. But to get up from my desk and make sure that I get out in the admissions lobby and see everyone, to me that makes a difference, and that's one thing I'm really going to focus on this year. I've been thinking about, I also want to read more. Free reading. I have an iPad, like many of you, and all too often I revert to playing Blocus before I go to bed at night. I think I rationalize it that I like to fit pieces together, but truly it's kind of mindless. So I'm going to get rid of my Blocus application and load some more books on that iPad. That's another thing I want to do. And the final thing, and my wife Tracy and I have talked about this, we want to have our advisees over for dinner more often. Those times are glorious. I'll tell you, our children love it when the boys are over at our house for dinner, and there's nothing like a meal to kind of be casual and have share in really good and unique conversations. So that's some of the stuff that I've been thinking about, and there's certainly more, but that's a start. And I hope you will think about your goals if you have it in the days ahead. One of the things about being a teenager, and I remember this very well, is I think all too often we tend to kind of float along, just going about our day without much thought. And we kind of revel in that bliss. There's that old adage, ignorance is bliss. I don't know if that's that true. But anyway, the problem is that when months pass and we look back and we regret some really important opportunities that we've missed. And regret's bad. Regret's unfortunate. So sitting here in the chapel this morning, we all have the opportunity of a clean slate. There's nothing written on the whiteboard yet. It's all in front of us. And we have this unbelievable campus. Probably the most well-appointed, well-conceived campus for a small school in all of New England. Incredible facilities. And we're only looking forward. There's an open road ahead of us. Ripe for discovery. Primed for a journey. And look, you're just introduced to this incredible group of adults who are here to mentor you and to help you learn and to help you discover new things and help you refine skills that you have already. We'll make you better. This faculty is amazing. The wisdom at your fingertips is incredible. Others around you, I hope when you look to your left and your right, you realize the great kids you get to go to school with, and they're diverse and talented, and take advantage of all of these resources, the people and the place. And in the back of your mind, going back to where I started, in the back of your mind, I hope you will think about the sacrifices made to have you be here in this chapel this morning. The sacrifices that your parents or perhaps your grandparents made to get you here. This is our life and our journey individually, each of us. But there's no question that we carry the hopes and dreams of our parents and perhaps our grandparents with us each and every day. They have paved the way for us to be here. What do parents want for their kids? Well, we want them to be happy, and we want them to be healthy, and we want them to achieve, to be the best person that they can be, the best vision of themselves that they can be, to reach for the stars. And carrying those hopes and dreams shouldn't be a burden. Instead, it should be just another incentive to drive our ambition, the ambition to be great and to make our families proud, to know in our heart that we've made our most of our time here on the hilltop. I wish you the very best luck this year. It is a great privilege to stand here in front of you and to know you, to get to know you. You are our sons. Be courageous. Be resilient. Be gentlemen. And make us proud. And always, always stick together as brothers.